525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife. In 525,600 minutes, how do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love.
525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to play, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or man?
In truth that she heard, oh, in times that he cried, the bridges she burned, or the way that she died.
Your story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember the year in the life of Grace. Remember the seasons of love. Seasons of love.
All right, get a little crazy out there. Yeah. Good evening. My name is Frank Billingsley. I want to welcome you tonight. It is such a pleasure and an honor to serve as your MC this evening as we celebrate together the life of Sean. 30,312,000 minutes. That's how long Sean Rudolph was with us in this life. But is that how we measure the life of our dear friend? Perhaps we should measure it in cups of green tea or rounds of Hendrix and tonic. Can we count that high? Or in scoops of Baskin Robbins or boxes of See's candy. Maybe in fits of laughter and acts of love. Most importantly, we could measure Sean's life by the number of people he touched and the lives that he enriched in those 30,312,000 minutes. So thank you for joining us on this very special night as we celebrate Sean's life and legacy. As you all know, he loved his family, his friends, art, food, travel, tennis, and of course, musical theater. So please enjoy the show as we relive some of his major milestones with the help of those closest to him and some of Broadway and Houston's most talented performers.
March 2nd, 1959, Texas Independence Day, and the day that Troy and Aline Rudolph welcomed Sean into the world. Growing up in Baytown, he was the third in a pack of 4 boys, and you can only imagine the mischief that Sean and his brothers got into. They lived across the street from the bay, and on one occasion, a neighbor's boat was mysteriously untied from the dock and seen drifting away. As a middle child, Sean quickly learned how to stand out in a crowd. His antics did not impress the nuns at his Catholic school, who often rewarded his mischievous side with lots of ear-tugging and hand-slapping. In high school, Sean played in the Robert E. Lee Baytown Marching Band and lettered 4 years on the swim team, where he was a star who set several long-standing school records. He was undecided about college until the summer after graduation, but once his choice was made, he marched confidently into his next season.
Sean was very involved in campus life while attending Texas A&M. He was a fish camp counselor. He served on the Dunn Hall Residence Hall Association. He was elected to his junior and senior class councils. There he served as historian for the class of '81. He was a member of the Aggie Cowboys Social Fraternity and a member of the Memorial Student Center Student Conference on National Affairs. Well, his involvement with SCONA led him to visit Dominique de Menil's River Oaks home, which sparked his interest in contemporary art and design. During Sean's days in Aggieland, he made many good friends, some of whom remain friends for life.
Sean was very popular at Texas A&M. He loved all the traditions of Texas A&M. One in particular that he liked was the ring dance, and he was responsible for the ring dance because he was a class officer for the class of 1981. Sean invited me to the ring dance. Kenzie, his best friend, invited another woman to the ring dance. And off we went. He had purchased a corsage for me, and we had put it on my waist because I had a strapless gown on. And so Sean loved to dance, and we were out there dancing, and he's flailing his arms around, and apparently the pin from my corsage went into his big finger, and he was spraying blood all over the dresses of all the young women dancing around him. So picture all these cake dresses, kind of like big quinceañera dresses with gauze and white and baby blue and baby pink. And when Sean realized that he was the source of the blood, Kill Bill Quentin Tarantino style, when he realized that he was the source of the blood, he started dancing even more frenetically, even more excitedly, so he could spray more blood. Then all of a sudden the dance floor clears out, and all the young women have run into the bathroom. They've all run into the bathroom so that they can get the blood out of their dresses, so that when it came to take pictures in the life-size replica of the ring, everybody's dresses wouldn't be splattered in blood. It's one of our favorite memories of Sean's impish, fun nature, his ability to capitalize on a moment's notice to make even more fun for everyone around him.
My name is Lisa Kroon, and I met Sean my sophomore year at A&M. I was wearing a costume, walking through the Commons on my way to a punk rock party, and I hear this voice from the corner say, "Hey, where are you going in that outfit?" And of course, that was our Sean. So we chatted for a while and went on our way, and then after that initial meeting, whenever I would see Sean and his friend Kenzie on their way to the cafeteria or headed out to the tennis courts with their wooden rackets and their little GQ outfits, they would always stop and talk, and we all became friends. So when Kenzie graduated and left for law school, Sean and I started spending a lot more time together. and he was a member of the Aggie Cowboys, so we would go to the Aggie Cowboy parties, we'd go dancing, we would drink Long Island iced teas at the Zephyr Club on Thursday nights, we would just hang out, and he was just so much fun to be around. I mean, just a joy. So whatever we were doing, we were always having the time of our lives.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a lesson, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
After graduating from A&M, Sean decided to move to New York City and study costume design at Parsons School of Design. Following his first year there, he did a summer internship in Brunswick, Maine, where he met his good friend and future roommate, Rob Fessler.
I first met Sean at the Brunswick Music Theater in Brunswick, Maine. They did 5 shows in the span of about 8 weeks. It was incredibly difficult time for us. We were both interns. I was an acting intern. Sean was a costume intern. And what so impressed me about Sean was his artistry. He worked ceaselessly in the costume shop. They put us to work at the craziest hours. We were working well into the nights when we weren't doing shows. And one project in particular that I associate with Sean was in the musical How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Sean was given the task of making hats for a number called Paris Original, and he had to fashion about 18 hats for women that were almost identical, but each one had to have a little bit of its own personality. And I remember seeing him with a hammer and some mirror, smashing it up into pieces and hot gluing it onto place, and constantly getting burns on his hands. But I'll tell you something, when they were done, they were works of art. They were really amazing, and they took my breath away. And that's when I thought, you know what, I really want to get to know this guy. He's a talented artisan. We often had meals together, which were pretty hilarious, because the guy who was the head chef was a retired Army cook, literally, whose name was Cookie. And we used to have like the most grease-laden meals. Every single thing that we ate that summer, including, I think, the beverages, were made in the fry-o-lator. It was just pretty gross. Sean was not very pleased with the food offerings that summer. Yeah, to put it mildly.
After that summer in Brunswick, Sean decided that costume design was definitely not the career for him. So when he returned to New York, he left Parsons and began to explore other options. First, he got a job at Dongia Textiles. Then he worked for celebrity event planner Robert Isabel. He took some courses at NYU Film School, which led to his work with a documentary film producer. But Sean's time in New York wasn't just about finding a career. He was also on a personal journey. And he was finally free to express all of himself once he had left the small towns behind and was out in the world.
Do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to show that I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. There's so much more to me. Somehow I've got to make them just understand. I've got it well in hand, and oh, how I have faith. I'm spreading love, there is no need to fear. And I just feel so good every time I hear I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show. I'm coming out. It's rising, the barometer's getting low. According to all sources, the street's the place to go. 'Cause tonight for the first time, half of my life has passed. For the first time in history, it's gonna start raining. It's raining down. Hallelujah, it's raining down. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna
during this time, Sean was doing all kinds of different experiences. He was going to classes at the New School. He was taking classes at Parsons. He was volunteering at the Gay Men's Health Crisis. He was doing stuff that I couldn't even believe. He was very, very active. And he had a huge, wide array of friends. He was friends with people from celebrities and senators, all the way down to grocery clerks, people who were unemployed. And Sean was never attracted to people because they had things that he didn't have. They had power, they had money. That wasn't what interested Sean. What interested Sean, I think, was if they had something to teach him. Sean was one of the best students I knew. Not necessarily in the classroom, because I never really saw him in the classroom, but in life. He would find somebody who was an amazing floral decorator and pick their brains on everything there was to know about floral decorating, or room design, or color theory, or politics, or literature. He was always trying to learn more and to make himself more of a Renaissance man.
Years in the Big Apple provided Sean with experiences to last a lifetime. But eventually, he decided that New York City just wasn't quite home. So he journeyed back to his past, returning to Texas to be near his family and some of his closest friends.
Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here. People always say life is full of choices. No one ever mentions fear, or how the world can seem so fast on this journey to the past. Somewhere down this road, I know someone's waiting. Years of dreams just can't be wrong. Arms will open wide. I'll be safe and wanted. Finally home where I belong. Well, starting now, I'm learning fast on this journey to the home, love, family. There was once a time I must have had them too. Home, love, family. I will never be complete until I find you. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future. Things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a line. Let this road be mine. Let it lead me to my past and bring me home.
That's more than the umbrella dancers got. I'll wait till you stop. So when Sean came home to Texas, he literally returned to his roots. He spent almost 6 months at his grandmother's farm, where he committed himself to eating right and working out. Well, the way he ate, he had to work out. These were habits that would stay with him for the rest of his life. He then returned to Houston and found rewarding work as the executive director of the Assistance Fund, a charitable organization that covered the insurance premiums for those with HIV/AIDS. While Sean was busy with the Assistance Fund, Brad was up to his own business.
In 1993, a good friend of mine suggested that I start volunteering as a way to meet quality guys. So I heard about this organization called DIFA, the Design Industry Foundation Fighting AIDS, and I began volunteering within months. I quickly started building a list of guys that I wanted to meet. At one event, I saw this guy with these amazing blue eyes. I didn't know who he was, but I saw his name tag and it said Sean. So I quickly added him to the top of my list, Sean, Mr. Blue Eyes. The following January, I was at an event at Bering United Methodist where all the DIFA volunteers got to meet with some of the charities that we raised money for. And I saw Sean across the room, but somehow my group didn't meet with Sean's group, and I got very frustrated. But later that afternoon, I was attending a friend's memorial service at St. Paul United Methodist Church, and as I parked my car, who should be happened to getting out of his Mercury Cougar right next to me was Mr. Blue Eyes Sean. This time, I was not throwing away my shot. I pounced on the opportunity, and we stood in the parking lot chatting side by side between our cars. We finally walked inside into the memorial service, and we whispered back and forth with each other the entire service. A few days later, we were on our first lunch date at River Oaks Burger Joint, and then that weekend, somehow we were on the same flight to Atlanta, Georgia, meeting different friends for the weekend. When we got back to Houston, we never looked back. We quickly had something to believe in.
Till the moment I found you, I thought I knew what love was. Now I'm learning what is true, that love will do what it does. The world finds ways to sting you, and then one day decides to bring you something to believe in. For even a night, one night may be forever, but that's alright, that's alright. And if we're gone tomorrow, what was ours still will be. I have something to believe in, now that I know you believed in me.
We was never meant to meet, and then we meet, who knows why. One more stranger on the street, just someone sweet passing by. An angel come to save me, who didn't even know. She gave me something to believe in for even a day. One day, maybe forever, but that's okay, that's okay. And if I'm gone
something to believe in. Now that I know you believed in me. Do you know what I believe in? Look into my eyes and see. If things were different.
If you weren't going to Santa Fe,
Yeah, and if you weren't an heiress, and if your father wasn't after my head,
you're not really scared of my father.
no, I'm pretty scared of you.
Oh, don't be!
And if I'm gone tomorrow,
What was ours still will be. I have something to believe in. Now that I know you believed in me.
I have something to believe in. Now that I know you believe in me.
In February of 1994, I was getting a group of friends together for my husband's birthday at Pico's on Kirby, and Sean said that he would like to bring this guy that he had met that he really liked. He said his name is Brad, and he's really cute, and he likes tennis, or loves tennis, which was very important because my husband Nicholas was a professional tennis player at the time. So Brad joined us for dinner. We all had a great time. Everybody got along. And from that day on, it was Sean and Brad, Sean and Brad, Sean and Brad. And I am just so happy that we were there at the beginning of their beautiful relationship.
We were strangers starting out on a journey, never dreaming what we'd have to go through. Now here we are, and I'm suddenly standing at the beginning with you.
No one told me I was going to find you. Unexpected, what you did to my heart. When I lost hope, you were there to remind me.
This is the start. And life is a road and I wanna keep going. Love is a river, I wanna keep flowing. Life is a road, now and forever, wonderful journey. I'll be there when the world starts turning. I'll be there when the storm is through. In the end, I wanna be standing at the beginning with you. We were strangers on a crazy adventure.
Never dreaming that our dreams would come true.
Now here we stand,
Unafraid of the future,
at the beginning with you. And life is a road and I wanna keep going. Love is a river, I wanna keep flowing. Life is a road, now and forever, wonderful journey. I'll be there when the world stops turning. I'll be there when the storm is through. In the end, I wanna be standing at the beginning with you. I knew there was somebody somewhere, like me alone in the dark. Now I know my dreams will live on. I've been waiting so long. Nothing's gonna tear us apart.
we're back. So together, Sean and Brad, that was so cute, continued to pursue their respective passions. Sean's focus remained in the world of art as he worked to launch his first gallery in 1995, calling it Slover McCutcheon Gallery, in honor of his parents' ancestral names. He quickly gained a following and became known for his innovative approach to presenting exhibitions.
Early in the art business, Sean signed up to participate in a hotel art fair in Los Angeles at the Standard Hotel. Each gallery would have their own hotel room and represent their artist work. Sean hung all the artwork for the artists we represented across our hotel room, but we needed more space to lay out a bunch of unframed works on paper. So we decided to take the mattress and we crammed it into the bathroom, so we had the bed to lay the unframed works of paper on. At the time, we had purchased these works of art to resell, and these works were Takashi Murakami prints, and they represented our entire savings. So at the conclusion of our first day, our Aunt Dolly came to visit us, and she brought along our cousin and her husband and their 2-year-old daughter, Summer. We were all standing around talking when suddenly Summer leaped on the bed and stomped her dirty shoes all over our most expensive Murakami prints. Everyone immediately gasped. The parents clotheslined Summer off the bed. But Sean instantly looks up and says, "Summer is our newest art critic." And within seconds, everyone was laughing and at ease. This was actually a common experience with Sean. He had a way of reacting differently, even when it involved our life savings. Once something happened, Sean was someone who knew that nothing could be done about it, and he was able to move on.
So what happened to Summer? Summer went to fall real quick. So art may have been Sean's primary focus, but he could not get away from the game of tennis. In exchange for free rent, Brad worked as the tennis director at their apartment complex. The 3 tennis courts that Brad oversaw there became the beginning of a joint venture that would change their lives. But it wasn't easy at first. They sold tennis products out of a courtside apartment, and as Sean liked to joke, they lived tournament to tournament, hosting events just to pay the bills. Sean loved telling the story of the time Nicholas Kroon brought God Bjorn Borg, it's in the script, to hit at their courts. He was something. He looks like that guy on the romance novels. So the Swedish tennis legend tried to pay for 2 cans of tennis balls with a $100 bill. And Sean, of course, didn't have change. So what do you do? Well, Sean handed the balls over for free, but always regretted not taking the 100 and putting it in the cash register. As it turns out, they did not need Bjorn's bucks in the long run. Thanks to Sean and Brad's persistence and hard work, their small little tournament-to-tournament operation became what we know today as Tennis Express, one of the largest... Clearly one of the best employers in the city. And one of the largest tennis retailers in the country. They took many risks and they earned their rewards, the good life.
Woke up in London yesterday, found myself in the city near Piccadilly. Don't really know how I year. I got some pictures on my phone, new names and numbers that I don't know. Address to places like Abbey Road. Day turns to night, night turns to whatever we want. We're young enough to say, oh, this has gotta be the good life. She's gotta be the good life. This could be the good life. We say, oh, got this feeling that you can't fight, like the city is on fire tonight. This has gotta be the good life, good, good life. To my friends in New York, I say hello. My friends in LA, they don't know where I've been for the past few years or so. Paris to China to Colorado. Sometimes there's airplanes I can't jump out. Sometimes this bullshit don't work. Now we are got the stories, but please tell me what there's to complain about. When you're happy like a fool, let it take you over. When everything is out, you gotta take it in up. This has gotta be the good life. This has gotta be the good life. This could really be the good life, good life. Say, oh, this feeling that you can't find. The city's on fire tonight. This could really be the good life, good, good life. Yeah. Oh. Hopelessly, I feel like there might be something that I missed. Hopelessly, I feel like the window closes oh so quick. Hopelessly, I'm taking a mental picture of you now. 'Cause hopelessly, the hope is we have so much to feel good about. Oh, this has gotta be the good life. This has gotta be the good life. This could really be the good life, good life. Say, oh, this feeling that you can't find. The city's on fire tonight. This could really be the good life, good, good life. Oh, yeah. Good, good life. So my friends in New York say hello. My friends in LA, they don't know where I've been for the past few years or so. Paris to Houston to Colorado. Sometimes there's airplanes that can't jump out. Sometimes this bullshit don't work. Now we are got the stories, but please tell me what there's to complain about. Good, good life.
He had impeccable taste. Everything from his friends to Hendrick's Gin, the art in his gallery, to the trendiest bars in New York, the latest hit on Broadway. The man just really enjoyed the finer things in life. And he also loved sharing that experience with others. Brad and Sean and I traveled abroad many years ago. I was totally amazed at the meticulous planning that he would go through. Whether we were trying to find the best hot chocolate in Paris or the best play in the West End, he knew what was good, and he loved sharing that experience with me and with anyone. I miss you, Sean. We all miss you. But we love the many fabulous experiences that you brought into our lives.
So New York, Paris, London, Sean and Brad's travel trifecta. They jam-packed their trips to these cities with the best food, the best entertainment, and the best tennis, and they kept going back for more. Brad once mentioned to Sean, maybe they should try out some new locales, but Sean brought up a good point. Why change a winning game? Sean did more than just make things happen. He was a world-class curator of experiences who literally kept files on all of his favorite world cities in order to never miss out on unique experiences, like specialty cocktails at Candelaria in Paris, a secret bar that's accessible only through a hidden door behind a taco stand, or savoring the world's best ice cream at Bertillon, or a private tour at Veuve Clicquot with, as Sean called them, not me, I'm on TV, I would never say this, as Sean called them, a bunch of tennis bimbos.
Hi guys, it's Mike
and Lily
from Tokyo. We're here coaching up-and-coming American Frances Tiafoe. We wanted to be there for the Life of Sean show. We wish we could. We're going to tell you a few stories, funny stories, and about our loved one, Sean.
We were in Paris one night, and it was my birthday, and we had no reservations for any restaurants. And as you all know, Sean is really good at finding the best places to go to. So it's late already, so we have no reservations, but yet he doesn't want to settle to go to just any restaurant. So we go to one of the fanciest places in Paris, and he goes and talks to the manager because we had no reservations. So the guy, 5 minutes later, the guy's like, okay, come in. So we went in, and it was an amazing experience. It was my first time eating in a restaurant. They had a tasting menu. It was just amazing. I loved it. Thank you, Sean.
And Sean was always a big supporter of mine on the court and off the court. Sean and Brad traveled to all 4 Grand Slams to watch me play and root me on. So, they went to Australian Open, they went to the French Open, they went to the US Open.
I have a story of the US Open.
And when they went to Wimbledon.
Yes, great stories.
So, Wimbledon, Sean and Brad were in the players' box, center court. I'm opening against Rafael Nadal, who was #1 in the world at the time. And to be able to share that moment with Sean and Brad, obviously not only was it special for me, but to have my best friends there supporting me was, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Also the US Open, the story.
The US Open was a funny story, a little crazy story. So again, first round, I'm playing Andy Roddick night match, Arthur Ashe Stadium, incredible atmosphere. So I'm wearing these sponsor patches, but I don't have anyone to put them on my shirts. So Sean gets this incredible idea to staple the patches on my shirts, but then he was so concerned and so creative, Sean, how he is so artsy and just an incredible background, that he made sure that the staples were pressed down and then put tape on them so that when I did have them on my sleeve and on my chest, it wouldn't rub on my nipples and on my skin, so I wouldn't be bleeding all over. I didn't even think of that. Sean's always caring for everyone. We love him so much. We hope you guys obviously have an incredible show. We know we will. We wish we could be there. And, we love everyone there supporting.
We love you, Sean.
Brad and Sean made countless travel memories together, cheering for friends from private suites at Grand Slam tournaments, dinners with tennis stars that would be interrupted by British royalty wanting photo ops. Or the one time that Sean refused to let this petite, feisty woman cut in line at a bar. Well, she turned out to be Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Hendricks Justice. They always enjoyed the best that each of their destination cities had to offer. Each was its own little world.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride.
a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear. And now I'm in a whole new world with you.
I'm in a whole new world with
Unbelievable sights, indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through an endless time and sky. A whole new world.
Don't you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath, it gets better.
I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I
A whole new world with new horizons to pursue. I'll taste them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. Don't you dare close your eyes.
100,000
Hold your breath, it
leagues to
gets
see.
better.
I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I used to be. Every turn
With new horizons
every
to
moment
pursue. I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you. A whole new world. That's where we'll be.
That's where we'll be.
Feeling a chance.
A wondrous place.
For you and me.
So, one of the many nice things about being in Sean's world, you never waited for a table in a restaurant. Sean was very well known at dozens of the best restaurants in the world. Not only was he a regular patron, but he made true connections with the chef and the staff members at places like Le Bernardin, Per Se, 11 Madison Park, and Jean George in New York City.
Sean always had the best connections. Once we crashed Per Se on Columbus Circle, overlooking Central Park, and had drinks. The Per Se team brought us the finest made chocolates out of an oversized box. Sean always included us on so many ultimate dining experiences in Houston. And lest I not forget to mention the Uchi Dallas opening. Sean and Brad always set the bar for great culinary experiences all over the map, as well as the conversations that accompanied such fabulous times.
It's too bad we couldn't all be at Sean's table. But luckily for us, Sean would provide plenty of food porn, as he called it, on Facebook to make us all salivate.
On top of the rest, my seafood's the best in the town. Yes, I can cook too. My fish can't be beat. My sugar's the sweetest around. I'm the perfect ideal for the perfect meal, right down to my dirty taste. I'm a pot of joy for a hungry boy. Baby, I'm a cook with gas. Or I'm a gumdrop, a lollipop, a brook trout right out of the brook. And once more, baby, I can cook. Now, some Some guys make a magazine cover. Some guys keep house on the dime. Some guys make wonderful lovers. But what a lucky find I make a magazine cover, and I do keep house on a dime. I make a wonderful lover. I should be paid overtime, 'cause I can pay too. On top of the lot, my husband's the hottest you'll find. Yes, I can roast too. My chicken's just ooze. My gravy will lose your mind. I'm a brand new note on the top lotto, but just trying the a la carte. With the single course, you can choke a horse. Baby, you don't know what to start. Oh, I'm an hors d'oeuvre, a jelly prepare, not out your recipe book. And once more, baby, I can cook. Hey, take it. Or I'm an hors d'oeuvre, a jelly prepare, not from your recipe book. And once more, baby, I can cook, yeah. Woo!
And that was some amazing food, too. But, as we said before, you eat all of that, you've got to work out. All of those delectable dishes meant plenty of hours spent at the gym. Unlike most of us, Sean loved pushing himself to the limit during his workouts. His 3 trainers in Houston and 1 in New York, no wonder he looked so good, never took it easy on him. And he had the biceps and the quad muscles to prove it. Only Rafa Nadal could rock a Nike sleeveless tee quite like Sean.
The one thing that would always stand out is no matter how tired he was, on that last set, he would always be like, last set, best set. And kind of get the rest of the gym looking and like, hey, what's this guy doing? And it's like, oh man, he's working out with Tony. Tony is killing him, but he is still just going at it every single rep.
One time Sean invited me to work out with him, and that one time turned into like 3-4 years workout partner. And so throughout our workouts, he would always lift heavier than I was, and he would always call me, you're weak, or he would say, you're a So then I was like, all right, that's a challenge. Sounds like a challenge, and I like challenges. So then, but all the smack talk from Sean and all the push from Sean, I was able to start lifting heavy and keep up with him.
Sean would come there ready to work out. He would always have some really colorful shoes on. Every time a different pair, but it was the loudest thing, and it was a statement that said, I came to party, I came to work out.
This one time, we had to do a workout where we alternated in between narrow push-ups and wide push-ups all the way up this ladder, and then we had to go all the way back. It was my first time doing the workout, and Sean made me go before him. And next thing you know, I fail halfway up the ladder. Right after me, Sean gets on, and he goes all the way up the ladder and all the way back like it's nothing for him. Seeing this guy that's more than twice my age outdo me in this just made me realize what a hard worker and what an amazing person Sean was.
We would sit there and stack up as many 45 plates as we could on leg press, so that way we'd have like 8 on each side, as many as we could on the top part, and just throw the weight on there. If I could jump on top, I probably would, but then I couldn't spot him. So I would always lay next to him to kind of help spot, so that way he could just go balls to the wall and just kill it. like he would always do with anything.
We always had some really cool banter, really funny banter back and forth when I was training with him. He loved working out. I always enjoyed my time with him in the gym. I always got some awesome energy from him.
Those times at the gym, working out and having fun with Sean were definitely some of the best times.
The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows, who knows, who knows. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, now. Forgotten yesterday. Now tomorrow is too far away, and so hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now. The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows, knows. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, is now, is now. Not some forgotten yesterday. Now tomorrow is too far away, so hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now. So hold this moment fast and live and love as hard as you know how, and make this moment last, because the best of times is now, is now, is now, is now, is now.
Hi, my name is Jason, and Sean's nickname for me was Grasshopper. I'm not really sure why he called me that. I think I showed up on my first day and I didn't really know much.
Folks, Gary here, or JB as Sean always called me. The nickname that we had for each other was Pumpkin.
I believe my nickname was Pistol, but I'm not sure if it was Brad's idea or Sean's. Well, either way, I'm a pistol.
Sean, you always called me Devo because I was high maintenance. I think it's kind of ironic because you're also high maintenance. You're also a Devo. I love you. 2 Devos.
One of the few nicknames that Sean would ever call me was Mexican or Mexicant. And so, you know, whenever I could do something, oh, Mexican, do it. And whenever I would say that's kind of hard or whatever, it would be more of a Mexicant. I would always call him Gringo.
Hi, my name is Yang Zing, and Sean's nickname for me was Young Thing.
For me, my nickname was just my initials, WH.
I was called the Cricket-Phone Man.
Hi, my name is Daniel Kaki. Sean used to call me DKNY.
Between Sean and I, his name for me was Love. Hey, Love!
Sean always called me Cougar because he witnessed many times that I like to flirt.
Obi-Wan, as in Star Wars Obi-Wan, okay? So we kind of graduated.
Sean had nicknames for everybody here, and my nickname was AA.
Hey everyone, my name is Ali Saliasi. I used to be Sean's personal trainer here in New York. His nickname for me was the Albanian Enforcer because he said I reminded of one of the Jersey Shore characters, you know, I should be fist bumping and stuff. Needless to say, because of those things, he used to be in a lot of pain when he used to train with me. He will be missed.
Instead of warming up for my match, I sat in the back seat of my coach's car eating Snickerdoodle cookies. And since that story, I became Cookie.
My name's Brian Pham, and Sean used to call me Famalama Ding Dong.
Hi, my name is Daniel, also known as the Colombian Drug Lord or Colombian Mafia, depending on how Sean felt that day.
Hi, my name is Irvin Hernandez, and Sean used to call me Big Herb.
Well, in 2012, as I'm sure you know, Sean and Brad adopted a senior Norwich Terrier named Cooper. She brought them so much joy that Sean decided it would be fun to start Cooper's Diary on Facebook to share her adorableness with the world. Here are just a few of Sean's posts brought to life.
Hi there. My name is Cooper Rudolph Bloom. And yes, I am a girl with a boy's name. Whenever you're ready, I cannot reach the pedals. I have a hat for every occasion. I'm always staying up to date with the latest styles. I'm a hard worker, but Sunday fun day is always for relaxing. Back to work Monday. I don't walk. I like to be carried everywhere like a princess. Except when Daddy's training me for Canine Ninja Warrior. After a long day's work at Tennis Express, I stretch into downward dog. It's my favorite doga pose. Sean is teaching me the importance of academics. Ruff! I'm always learning new tricks. Another hat. I look spooktacular. Halloween time. Ruff! I love to give gifts, but I keep all the dog treats for myself. Woo-hoo! My first flight. Let's go New York. In the Big Apple, I'm a Broadway star. My fans are here to see me. Traveling is fun, but being with my family is most important. Bye-bye, New York. Everyone, get your treats ready. Ruff!
The word that reminds us of Sean the most is yummy.
And Sean used to always say was eat cake. And every happy birthday he would always end at the end with eat cake and be happy.
The color blue, 50 Shades of Blue was all Sean.
Smile. Sean was always smiling.
Hardworking, driven, and motivating.
Courageous, very artsy, and very loving.
American Ninja Warrior. That was your favorite show.
If I had to come up with one word to describe Sean, it would have to be
flawless.
So whenever we think about Sean, it's always wheels up.
Passionate, accurate, glowing.
So a few words that reminds me of Sean is powerful, inspiring, and determined.
Badass. Lacoste. He was always wearing this famous alligator.
When I think of Sean, I think about strong, enthusiastic, artistic, never-ending love. He will forever be in my heart. Love you, Sean.
Well, Sean was always a positive, can-do person. He could find a silver lining in any situation. Even after his diagnosis, he knew that a positive attitude would be a key factor for himself and his loved ones. So he started reaching out through daily motivational Facebook posts. For 4 years, his simple messages inspired, uplifted, made people smile, brought happy tears and sometimes even laughter. Sean's amazingly positive spirit in the face of his illness challenged us all to think about what is truly important in life and to always get up every morning with a smile on your face.
You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station as the workday winds are blowing, I got nothing to do but watch the passers by. Mirror in their faces, I see frustration growing, and they don't see it showing. Why do I? You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the reason for the sadness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. Maybe there's an answer, and we can end all the madness. Maybe not, oh, but surely we can try. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Oh, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. As you feel. You're beautiful as you feel.
Hello, my name is Daniel Kaki, and I'm standing here today for Sean Rudolph. When I started working at Tennis Express, I wasn't in a good place, personally. Sean was much more than my boss. He was my friend, my mentor, and he taught me compassion, positivity, and forgiveness, and also the ability to believe in myself. He helped me make myself to the man I am today. I will always be grateful to be one small part of the tremendous legacy of Sean Rudolph. He will always be a rock star.
Sean touches so many of our lives. Sean has a sixth sense. Sean knows when something is bothering you. He would drop what was going on in his life and spend time with you. One time in my life, I didn't know what to do. Work, school, Sean took me out. He told me, Daniel, you do not have to follow everyone else's script that they have set for you. Live now. Enjoy your life. Things will happen when they happen. Don't focus too much on the things in the future, but remember, today is how we live. You write your own script, you follow it, you give it your own ending. Sean lived in the moment and was always full of life.
My name is Vin Nguyen, and I was a Tennis Express team member for about 7 years. I know we all remember Sean as one of the most kind-hearted and compassionate human beings to have ever walked this earth. And you know, he always wanted people to be happy. He always wanted the mood to be light. And I can remember on several occasions coming into the store in a not so good mood, and he would immediately catch on to that. And he would always ask, hey, is everything okay? And then he would always share some words of encouragement like, hey, get over it, let's get to work, or stop being a baby. You know, however, he was also always the first person to put his arm around you and say, hey, if there's ever anything you need, you just let me know. And if there's anyone that would hold true to his word, it was Sean. Back in 2010, I had made a decision that I needed to move out of Houston and start over. When I shared this with Brad and Sean had approached me and said, look, why don't you stay, and we'll pay for at least the first couple of years of school to get you back on the path that you want to be on. He also let me know that, you know, I was an important part of the team, and that would be hard to replace, and that meant a lot. So, you know, I thought about it, and I took him up on that offer. So in 2010, I started school again, stayed with Tennis Express, and have since then completed my undergraduate degree, completed my MBA, and actually now in my last year of my doctorate program in business and on entrepreneurship at that. You know, these gentlemen, they're an inspiration to me.
When I first came through the doors at Tennis Express at 17, I was just a scrawny little kid. I couldn't even look a stranger in the eye. I had no confidence in myself, and I didn't believe in myself. But Sean believed in me. He taught me so much and molded me and helped me grow into the man that I am today. Sean wasn't just a great boss, mentor, and friend. He was like a second parent to me. He taught me how to be a great worker and also taught me how to be a great leader. One day he told me he wanted me to be a manager of the store, which meant a lot to me. He would teach me how to be positive. Every day he saw me, there was a different joke about me. Either it was, Brian, you're getting too fat, or Chantal's too good for you. Has she left you yet? He taught me how to have a good time with people and how to see the good in everybody. Even when Sean was away or in the hospital, he would always text me. Sean's last text to me was, you're awesome, and I really mean it.
Sean hired me to work here at Tennis Express as a stringer. During my 5-year tenure here, I learned a lot from Sean. That was one of his major projects at the time. And over time, I came to learn about Sean and see his true colors. And his colors were as beautiful as the paintings that he loved. I was always looking to Sean for help. He was always there to lend a helping hand. Because of Sean, I was able to finish school, get my act together, start a family, and live a beautiful life. One day I hope to pass on my life lessons, the lessons that Sean taught me, onto my daughters, and in that way pass on a piece of Sean. Sean helped me find myself.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere. Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know will take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around, you will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone.
If you only say the word, from across the silence, your voice will heard. Oh, someone will come running. Oh, to take you home, to take you home, take you home, to take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So when the sun comes streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be morning is breaking, all is new, all is new. Filling up empty, and suddenly I see that all is new, all is new. You are not alone. 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 You are not Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need someone to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be You will be found.
I remember about 5 years ago when I was going through a tough breakup with my boyfriend, And Sean was walking by, it was during work, and he noticed that I seemed sad and upset and looked down. What he said and did next really touched my heart. He asked me simply, "Are you okay, Arlette? How are you?" And then I just started to break down and cry in that situation. And we all know how Sean is. He's very honest, very blunt, and that's what we all loved about him, and that's what I loved about him. He then turned around and told me, "Arlette, you know this wasn't going to work out anyways. Plus you're young, you're beautiful, you deserve more. It's his loss. Take this as a learning experience and make better decisions in the future." Then he smiles and just gave me the biggest hug that I had ever gotten from anybody. And he just simply said, "You'll be okay, just believe in it." Sean was just a caring person. He cared a lot about his employees. He really cared about people's happiness and well-being. And I'll never forget everything Sean has done for me, my family, along with Brad. And I can comfortably say that I would never be where I'm at now without working at Tennis Express, without Sean and Brad. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful I got to meet Sean and have him as a mentor, as a friend, as a boss, and much, much more. And whoever else got to meet him is also just as lucky to have gotten to know him. And Sean, just know that we will always remember you and continue your memory on. Your memory, I'll keep telling everybody these stories and, keep your memory alive. But I miss you and love you and hope to see you one day, someday. Love, Arlette. Thank you.
Sean was always very blunt, but loving. So he always had my best interest at heart. He's a very great friend, but he'd always communicate in terms that I can relate to, so he was always very blunt, but kind of a sarcastic, comedic way, but to the point. If I was kind of beating around the bush and complaining about something, he'd more or less say, "Quit being a little bitch." It's a cuss word, but he was real, and just kind of drove the point home and said, quit being a wuss and just, kind of just do it, more or less. But I loved him for that.
My name is Liam Tai. I've been an employee at Tennis Express for 5 years now. If there's something I could say about Sean, it would be how full of life he was. The meaning of life to Sean was to impact others all around him, and that's what he did. He would never allow any health challenges to ever keep him from enjoying every second he graced this earth. Sean impacted people's lives every day with his sass, charm, and humor. No matter how hard things ever got for him, I know he would always walk around with a smile on his face. That's just who Sean was. Sometimes I would think to myself, how can someone who is going through so much can always stay so positive? That truly inspired me about Sean. I'll always miss you, boss.
The name Sean is originally from Ireland, meaning God is gracious. Do we grow into our given names, or do our names make us what we become? I can say with all confidence that Sean was indeed a gracious person. The meaning of gracious is very polite in a way that shows respect. That was our Sean. He never failed to be available to any of us that had a problem, great or small. He was always available to listen and always attentive and respectful. He truly cared about all of us that work both past and present at Tennis Express. He kept us all grounded and let us all know that each one of us is important. Sean raised our Tennis Express team. We'll remember Sean with a smile because of the way he made us feel. The same smile he had for us, we will always have when we're remembering him. Sean was the most gracious person who lives on in all of us.
Come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn.
because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes a sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine. Be my friend, like a ship blown from its mooring by the wind of the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant world. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a ship and it's rolling by the wind of the sea, like a seed dropped by a bird in a wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for
Hi, I'm Bridget Stiles. This is my husband, John. We're so honored to be here tonight and celebrate the life of Sean. We want Brad to know how proud we are of him to make this special night. John and I were introduced to Broadway through our daughter who's performing in the show tonight. And through Stephanie, we met people in the industry and decided to invest in a show quite some time ago and got lucky. It was Spring Awakening and won a Tony. The Broadway world is interesting because it brings people together and it gives you opportunities to share with others. We were so fortunate to become friends with Brad and Sean when they joined us in producing the Tony Award-winning musical Beautiful in 2013. Their love for Broadway was infectious. They went on to produce shows like American in Paris, The Color Purple Revival, Groundhog Day, Anastasia, the Tony Award-winning Dear Evan Hansen, and along with me and John, the new Broadway musical, The Band's Visit, that opens next month. Brad and Sean not only supported Broadway with their financial investments, but they became a vital part of the Broadway community, and Broadway embraced them too. Producers, actors, creatives, some who are here tonight, welcome them with open arms. We personally miss Sean so very much. He and Brad were our constant dinner date buddies. And it was just less than a year ago that we were all together in New York, having a New York moment, typical. Sean, just weeks before passing, was celebrating my daughter's birthday party in a room full of 26-year-olds, and just living life and soaking it up and just full of joy. I'm sure many of you here tonight were introduced to Broadway by Sean and Brad, as they were so generous to share their passion with friends and family. One of Sean's favorite books of a musical was The Color Purple. And it was just 2 years ago, he and Brad celebrated the star-studded opening night premiere of The Color Purple revival on Broadway, where the night was filled with power, emotion, and celebration. So tonight, please welcome back on stage members of our talented cast as they perform the title song from this show that was so special to Sean, The Color Purple.
Dear God, dear stars, dear trees, dear sky, dear peoples, dear everything, dear God. God is inside me and everyone else that was or ever will be. I came into this world with God, and when I finally looked inside, I found it. Just as close as my breath is to me. Rising like the sun is the hope that sets us free. Your heartbeat make my heart beat. Share love like a plate of corn, like a honeybee, like a waterfall, all a part of me, like the color purple. Where do we come from? Now our eyes are open. Look what God has done. Like a plate of corn, like a honeybee, like a waterfall, all a part of me, I don't think I feel old at all. I think this is the youngest I've ever felt. Yes.
Tonight we've heard so many stories about Sean's willingness and support of others and helping make other people's dreams come true. It's funny, so many people knew these stories, but after Sean's passing, there was even more stories, stories after story after story of things that Brad didn't even know about, where Sean was helping people. He was such an example by his own discipline and ambition, and it was never more clear in his battle with cancer. He was a fighter, and he loved to encourage others to fight for their dreams. It is in that spirit that Brad announces tonight he has established the Rudolph Bloom Foundation, which will support and aid young artists in pursuit of their dreams. The foundation will provide 100% of all its contributions to the support of young artists through scholarships for education, development of projects, new works, films, music, and art. The theater industry is unique in its competitiveness, where young artists struggle toward their dreams of attending school, establishing their careers, or developing projects. Brad will continue Sean's love of helping mentor young artists through the foundation with financial support for these deserving young people. The foundation has committed already to support the Broadway Cares organization, the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, by sponsoring an artist a year for $10,000, and recently sponsoring a young New York filmmaker, Nathaniel Irvin, for his short film titled One that is currently shooting. Brad looks forward to honoring Sean's legacy through generous support to young people everywhere, and hopes many of you here tonight will join in that effort for years to come. Tonight, Brad is thrilled to share the story of another young artist here in Houston who received a scholarship for his education, an amazing high school senior, Ryan Simone, who we will hear from in this next video.
Hi there, my name is Ryan Simone. I am a freshman theater playwriting major at Texas Wesleyan University, and I was chosen to be the first recipient of the Sean Rudolph Foundation Scholarship. Now, throughout my short career as a musical theater playwright, I've been involved in multiple different communities and programs throughout the Houston performing arts community, such as TUTS, ITS, TRW, and high school programs such as Cypress Ranch High Schools. And now I'm given the opportunity to study playwriting on the collegiate level thanks to the Sean Rudolph Foundation Scholarship. So I'd like to thank you, Mr. Bloom, and the Sean Rudolph Foundation for not only presenting me, but others in the future with the opportunity to take our passions and to learn from them. I believe that programs like yours really are fundamental to the community of theater as a whole, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the opportunities that you're presenting me with. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you all for celebrating my amazing husband, Sean, tonight. Of all the titles and labels Sean accumulated and the various hats he wore, the one that he truly poured his heart and soul into, the one that meant the most to him, the one that was the foundation for everything else in his life, was friend. Sean and I love you all so very much. Sean is here with us tonight. His spirit lives on with each of us each day.
So the words to our final song this evening are printed inside your playbill, and we'd like to invite you to enjoy our entire cast tonight to sing our final song together, You've Got a Friend.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing's going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. Now ain't it good to know you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you. They take your soul if you let them know. Don't you let them. You just call my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Oh, darling, winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. And you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Thanks to Brad Bloom, our wonderful cast, our wonderful musicians, to all of you, and thank you, Sean, for being you. Don't forget to check out the Angel Wings in the Grand Lobby. Visit the video and the photo booths. Record a memory of Sean. Good night, everyone.
Dark and dusty,
Painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine.
We love you guys.
You've been amazing.
It's incredible. I mean, you've all been there. You've all seen it. You all know.
Okay.
You know.
Sit down.
No! I'm just going to say, I love ya.
I love you too. Sit down.
Love you guys.